So I believe the majority of people are too immature and selfish to get married, right? Do you think the majority of people have the intellectual capability, spiritual strength, emotional maturity, and selflessness to make a marriage work?
Everyone has it in them, but there are very few people who are feeding it and believing it and accepting it. So in our society, majority of people are single because they're selfish. And in order to be in a marriage, you gotta be selfless. And so men and women alike that are single, majority of them, there's a group who are single and healthy and they're ready, but they haven't met their match. But the majority of them that I meet, they're too immature, they're too selfish, and they too caught up in fantasy and unrealistic expectations. Like I meet men, I meet men who are 5'6", and they want a 5'10" woman who looks like a model, a runway model. It's not realistic because a 5'10" woman doesn't want to be towering over her man. And that's just human nature. But because this man has been hurt from being 5'6", he wants this tall woman for validation. Because if he could get this tall woman, that means he's somebody. That means he's a boss. That means he's him. So he wants this tall woman who would be out of his league because of ego. Not because he just likes her. Not because they get along great. And I'll meet women who are 250 pounds and they want a man who is 150 pounds.
Sorry to cut you. When did this start? I feel like I didn't grow up around this delusion. Like I didn't grow up around where you had an obese person with the expectation and truly believing that another person who's not obese would be attracted to him. And I'm not trying to fight down. I'm not trying to get at people. I'm just saying in regards to like that compatibility.
Mm-hmm.
I think like where did it get so delusional in our society where it's like people feel in their heart that they're deserving of a certain type of person when they don't match?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all out of insecurity, ego, and greed. So what happens is they've allowed the media to make them feel entitled.
That's the word, entitled. Yeah, that's the word I want to
Without them even putting in the work. So now they feel entitled to someone of another body composition who has put in the work to have that body composition, but they don't want to walk 30 minutes a day. They don't want to have an eating window. They don't want to sacrifice. We're not talking about the health issues where people have a thyroid issue and all of that. We're just talking about choices, lifestyle choices. They don't want to make the lifestyle choices to have a better body composition, a better outlook on life, more confidence. Instead, they're operating from ego and arrogance, which comes from insecurity and weakness. Confidence comes from humility. And so they want someone, and men and women alike. I've had large men tell me they want a little woman, meaning overweight men say they want a small, petite woman. And I'm like, what makes you think this little, petite woman wants you who are overweight on top of her for the rest of her life? And vice versa. But it's entitlement. It's selfishness. But the through line is seeking validation, seeking approval. So when we feel less than, we feel unworthy in society, we want to seek this approval. So if we can get what we aren't, that means we're valued, we're qualified, because we are afraid of our reflection. When we look in the mirror, we don't like what we see. So we don't want a person who is a reflection of us, because that's ugly to us. We want someone who is who we aspire to be, because that validates us. But not realizing who we aspire to be does not want us, because they've put in the work, or they've lived a different life, or they've gone through different things that they don't value our complacency, or nor do they respect our entitlement or our selfishness. And this is something that people get mad about. They don't want to hear it. Oh, you body shaming. Oh, you height shaming. Oh, you just focusing on material or just the looks, the external, when it's not even about that. From my perspective, it's about liking who likes you, because of that being your reflection, because of them being a person who has put in the equal amount of work that you've put in. The more work you put in, the more you get from life. The more sacrifice you make, the more success you have. I got that sign on my wall that says sacrifice comes before success, even in the dictionary. That's my quote that somehow went viral and made it with this company thing. But I believe in that, because if you're not willing to sacrifice your ego, your selfishness, your unrealistic expectations, you're going to suffer. And so that's what's happening in our society is we, because of technology, because of social media, because of online dating, which is all technology, we are lazy, complacent, entitled, selfish, and delusional.